Yesterday, the Phasmophobia development team had released dev preview number 19, which is showing off some of the previews that you could expect for the Grafton Farmhouse rework and some of the big major updates from Chronicle that'll be redoing media in Phasmophobia as we know it today. So without any further ado, let's get into it. Here is the official blog post from Kinetic Games for dev preview number 19. And just from the banner alone, we can tell there's going to be a lot of media changes coming. You have the sound recorder. This is sound recorder tier number 1 right here, next to the photo cameras, and obviously there's going to be video evidence as well. So let's get into some of this and start reading through it. Today, we're excited to announce that the next major update for Phasmophobia is right around the corner, Chronicle. We'll be launching for all platforms on June 24th, 2025, so we have an official release date. I do also want to point out that Kinetic Games could be going to Summer Game Fest. You could potentially tune into that to see more previews and more teasers as what's coming to this major update. Exact timings as well as the full listings of new features, changes, and fixes will be available on the day of. Keep your eyes on our socials in the Discord server for more information. As more information comes about, you can definitely expect to get more information directly from me as well as an official Phasmophobia content creator. Now let's get down into what we can actually expect here. But first, we're going to look at the Grafton Farmhouse rework. Grafton Farmhouse, if you did not know, is my third favorite map in Phasmophobia. My top 3, which is a very common question I get, is Willow, Ridgeview, and Grafton. Those are my top 3. Surrounded by a near-dead cornfield, Grafton Farmhouse has been long abandoned, walls crumbled apart, doors boarded, and building left open to be beaten by extreme weather conditions. What caused this once thriving home to be evacuated, and what still lingers there? So the big difference between you have the Bleasdale Farmhouse rework that happened is that that's a very big upscale redone building. Whereas this one has unfortunately been abandoned, neglected, and it's very badly deteriorated. Looking here at the image they provide for the preview, you can tell that this is the staircase in Grafton. Goes off to the right side after you get into the front door, and it goes up to the upstairs area. The whole banister is decayed. Looks like there may be something on fire with some electrical sparks coming out, and you can see on the very bottom of the image is a chandelier on the ground as well. I have no doubts that there's going to be some portions of the map that are going to be somewhat outdoor, or you're going to have outdoor elements that are going to play a factor. Maybe windows open, maybe parts of the roof missing. There's no doubt that you're going to have features like that, which is something we've never seen in an indoor map in the game before. And if you do scroll down to the bottom of the image here, it talks about the entryway, although looking very rough and beaten up, is a little bit grander than it was previously. So a lot of the map reworks, which you can expect, is to see way more details in the map than you had ever seen before. So that's going to be applying for Grafton, for Tangle, and every other map to be reworked in the future. And I want to take a second just to talk about why exactly these maps are being redone. There's a lot of hype and a lot of discussion recently about Horror 2.0 being moved to the conceptual phase. Now, this is exciting for sure, because it's allowing conversations to happen as to what should we really do with it? How should we change the ghost? How should we change the players? How should we change interactivity? How should we change the game as people know it today? And that's very exciting. But we shouldn't expect any of those changes until 2026. That's just a very transparent overview of what has already been stated in previous dev blogs. So if you're expecting Horror 2.0 to come out at some point in 2025, not going to happen 2026. But going back to the point here, the reason that these maps need to be redone is because if you want the ghost to interact with more objects, if you want more ghost events, if you want more ghost activity in general, you need to get rid of some of your asset models in the games and the maps, and you have to replace it with well-defined and custom assets. So that's the real point here. It's adding a better feel to these maps to allow them to be more customizable for the future of Phasmophobia. Scrolling on down here, we have another image, and it says around the corner, the twin bedroom has completely been refurbished, but into what? Who worked in this room? What is the mysterious place? So, this is the twin bedroom. This whole layout looks very different. Or, unless we're looking at this from a perspective of, this is inside the living room, and that door in the back here where I'm pointing my cursor is the laundry room. This room right here would be potentially the entryway to the twin bedroom, and then this one over here would be master bedroom. I'm not really sure, to be honest. Unless this is the inside of the twin bedroom itself, then I don't understand why this door is here at all. Where is that leading to? So definitely a different layout of the map for sure, but I think conceptually it's probably still the same. And you can see that you have some boarded up walls here that are starting to break apart. The grandfather clock, obviously, absolutely destroyed, glass broken, etc. Paintings off the walls, wallpaper coming down, really setting the theme. And I think what I love about this concept the most is that it's gonna feel like a horror game. When you go into some maps, yeah, sure, sometimes it should feel like somebody's living there, but sometimes it shouldn't. Sometimes the horror and the haunting has been so severe that you have to assume that people left a long time ago and never came back. The house was never able to be resold. Something terrible has happened there. Moving on down to the next section. As you can see, the Grafton's definitely seen better days, but that won't stop our dedicated ghost hunters from investigating the cause of this ruined household. You can look forward to exploring the new Grafton after Chronicle, and we'll share more information and the exact release timings as we get closer to the release. So to clear up any confusion out there, Grafton is coming after Chronicle. I think what they want to do is they want to release Chronicle, get rid of any bugs, and do like maybe a once-over hotfix update. And once things are settling and look good, then Grafton will come out. So I don't expect it to be too long after, but we'll see what happens when we get more information in the future. Now, on to the main events, the Chronicle update itself. And to anybody who has not seen any of the previous dev blogs for the Chronicle update from my videos or from official Phasmophobia posts, this is what you can know about it. It is changing the media system. So it says, we have given some insight into what has been planned for Chronicle late last year, but today, we'd like to go deeper dive on some of the more significant changes the update introduced to Phasmophobia. We love getting this information out to you before the update, as it means we can open the conversation to hear feedback and to what you're most looking forward to, and be sure to sound off on information below. So I want to go ahead and state that there's a lot of conversations happening between the community. They are listening to feedback on what you think of these previews. That's why they do dev previews in the first place. So if you're not already, join the official Phasmophobia Discord. Let your voice be heard. Let them know what you're thinking about. But having said that, let's get into the actual content itself. Rewarding media. With the additions of the new media section, we've added a bunch of new gameplay elements for everyone to interact with. Ghost hunters now need to complete a full book of unique media items to accomplish a perfect investigation. This is a huge change to the overall system, but we believe this allows for more consistent and realistic media capturing experience, especially when it comes to selling it onto your boss. And what if you make it back to the HQ? What this is really getting at here is that the developers have noticed the meta of taking a bunch of disturbed salt photos. So for example, if you have tier 3 salt, and you have 9 piles of salt, getting 9 disturbed salt photos, getting a bone photo, and having a perfect game in an instant. They don't want that anymore. It's not realistic. It's not making for good gameplay. And to be honest, it's somebody who's utilized that system very regularly. I agree with them. So what that means is you will have to get unique photos of different things in order to get a perfect game. Scrolling on down here, it says, so if everything needs to be unique, how do we fill the 13 slots in the journal to get a perfect game? Well, by adding more types of photos. So you see here we have a shadow ghost form, that's a photo. Burnt crucifix, that's a photo. The photo for ghost is a $10 photo with a tier 2 bonus, fantastic. They have the tier 1 bonus there. They have the tier 1 bonus here. So I'm not really sure exactly what the tier bonuses are yet. Maybe it'll say it down below. But you can definitely tell this from this one alone here that they've added more types of potential photos. Same thing with this EMF reader. I mean, you could have an EMF tier 2 and take a photo of it and get a photo. That's something you could do every single game, whether you have EMF 5 or not. Or whether you have evidence or not. You could be able to do that to get a photo. So you have now ghost writing, you have EMF readings, you have different potential types of event. Like if you have a red light event, that might be its own photo as well. Burnt crucifix, interaction photo, cursed object photo, bone photo. There's different things that are going to constitute as a unique photo. And you just have to take unique one of every single one. You can't have any repeats. Duplicates obviously will be allowed. You just won't get a perfect game. You won't get as much money as a potential perfect game experience and monetary reward bonus. Before we even scroll down to the next section, you can see here we have a clickable area. So here's photo number 2. These are media and videos here. So it's not all just photographs. You have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 photos that you need. For media, you need 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 as well. And then for sound, you only need 3. So that's how they're getting the 13 unique media that you need to get the perfect game, not just photograph. And this is a massive gameplay change. You're not just going to have to bring in a photo camera anymore. You have to set up a video camera, have it actually looking at something. Let's look at these real quick. Disturbed salt, looking at the ghost in the video camera, walk the salt. Object thrown, seeing an object get thrown on the video camera from one spot to the next. Door move, seeing that door move on the video camera. Ghost orbs happening across the video camera. Interactions, etc. There's a lot of potential things you can do here. I think the media is going to be fairly obvious to get and fairly easy as well. You just set up a video camera in the corner of a ghost room and it's probably going to start capturing things on its own. The photos will be a little bit more taxing, a little bit more involved. And the sound recorder is going to be a little bit more involved as well. You're going to have to be in the general ghost room, around the ghost, where it's eventing, etc., to be able to fill up this 3, but it's only 3 that's needed, so that's not going to be too bad. I also do like the fact that inside of the media journal here, you have the opportunity to hit that little play button to hear back the sound that you did record. I think that's very fun, immersive, and unique. And one more thing I want to point out is that I'm noticing this little deletion button here. It says 1 of 3. So you can delete up to 3 possible sounds. You can delete up to 3 possible videos, and you can delete up to 3 possible photos. You can only delete 2 photos right now, so this is a nice change as well. And hopefully, with no more star values, because right now you need 3-star photos to get perfect game, you won't have to worry about not being able to delete a 3-star photo. You can just delete any photo you want to. That way, if you don't have a photo slot in the journal to get a ghost photo for your objective, you just delete a full perfect photo, get it out of there, go for your objective. That's going to be a nice gameplay change, because I cannot tell you how many times I have filled up my journal by mistake and then said, damn, I can't get a perfect game anymore. I took too many photos. It's happened to me way too much. Before I make any more comments on the photos, let's scroll down and see what else it says. As you can see, there are plenty of new media options for ghost hunters to document proof of evidence such as EMF readings, interactions such as rocking chairs moving, and even ghost form. So rocking chairs moving, that will be a type of photo. It's not going to say interaction on the rocking chair moving. It'll say rocking chair moving. That's great. All of which can lead to the books brimming with unique captures. Can you record a ghost while it's trying to take you and your friends down? Maybe it's best to use some incense. Fair enough. You always got to use the incense to protect yourself. What we're showing in today's development preview is just the surface of what Chronicle has to offer. Well-practiced investigators will have greater rewards awaiting them. With the new system, harder captures are worth more money, tier bonuses for using upgraded gear. Okay, so that's what the tier upgrades are. That means that if you have a tier 1 bonus, that's a tier 1 crucifix. If you have a tier 2 bonus, you use tier 2 photo. So I'm assuming what it's taking into account here is that if you have a higher tier of equipment, it's better quality media. That makes a lot of sense to me, actually. I like that a lot. Okay, so if you have a higher tier of gear, you're getting rewarded more money for it because it requires more XP in order to level up at that stage of the game. So that feels like it makes a lot of sense. And lastly, it says, and to top it all off, everything media is now included in the reward multiplier, allowing for huge bonuses when completing a contract successfully. Wow. So that means that every single piece of media you get, all the photos, all the money and XP you make from photos is going to be multiplied by the reward multiplier. For somebody like myself that plays on a 10.62 times multiplier, the idea of having all of my media amplified by 10.62 times, that's a lot of money in XP. So you're going to be able to level way faster than you ever have before. All right, that's very exciting. I'm liking all of this so far. This is great. Sound recorder. Okay, this is what I really was curious about, because this is a new piece of equipment to Phasmophobia. With the Chronicle, we're excited to introduce our first new piece of equipment since our equipment overhaul and Ascension, which was quite some time ago. The sound recorder tier 1, which is available from level 4, brings with it a whole new type of profitable evidence. Investigators can now record audio from equipment such as the spirit box, the sound of a ghost event, and paranormal sounds, audio that you can only hear via the parabolic microphone, for example. Cool. So I wonder if that's going to mean that if you use the music box, you're going to be able to record the ghost singing from the music box to get you a piece of audio evidence. That would be very cool and bring a lot of value to that cursed object specifically. Let's play this video here and see what it has to offer, what it's going to actually show off here. Max volume. So this is a work in progress, so they're still open to feedback on this. Okay. Interesting. So I'm assuming that little like roundup sound you heard was the recording, and then them hitting the button again and hearing that like that little like that feminine sound. I'm assuming that was the ghost making some sort of audio sound recording. Now, I have a little feedback. I don't like that sound at all that came from the sound recorder and the playback. Let's listen to that again. I'll even push it forward a little bit. That one. All right. I'm not a big fan of that sound, to be honest, but I guess it's tier 1 gear, so I have to take it with a grain of salt, and I will give that feedback to the developers on that as well, because that sounds a little odd, and it kind of masks the sound that's coming out of the sound recorder as well. Like, you almost can't even hear that there's a paranormal sound there. You just hear that loud playing sound. So that's something to take into consideration. But this is just tier 1. I'm assuming tier 3 and tier 2 are going to be way more advanced than this one is here. So scrolling on down here, it says, while the sound recorder is switched on, It'll be constantly scanning for nearby things to record. If the lights burst into life, you'll need to use the range indicator to guide you within recordable range before the sound disappears. There are a plethora of new sounds to be found. Will you collect them all? Interesting, so it's a collection too of different sounds. Let's just see that one more time then. Because I think the lights are going to go off, letting them know that there is a recordable thing there. Yep, there it is. You see the lights going on? Then he records it. Got it. Okay, so once the lights start to go up, when you're in range of a sound, you hit the button, and then you record it. So that's good to know. So you wait for the lights to light up before you actually record anything at all. So all in all, I do like the idea of the sound recorder. I always thought it was kind of weird to not have some sort of EVP session or sound recording, because when you look at, like, paranormal shows, paranormal YouTube videos, IRL stuff, other paranormal games, they have something like this in the game. Parabolics are a thing. Like, you can hear any parabolic sound, though. You can hear your friends walking. So parabolic, to me, really isn't that great, other than being able to hear what the ghost's footstep sounds are from afar, or being able to test for Banshee. The spirit box is great, but it also just kind of gives you like a little list of generic responses. Something like this feels like it makes more sense because you're actually recording and bringing back to HQ from a lore perspective, something that's going to prove that actual paranormal phenomenon exists inside of that location, which is the whole point of the game. But wait, there's more. Chronicle is one of the biggest updates of Phasmophobia yet, and there's so much in store for you when the update launches next month that we couldn't possibly spoil for you here today. That said, what's this? Okay, let's look at this right here, because this is something that I looked at before I even started this video, and this is a very noticeable area inside of the van. You can see the backboard there, you can see the roof of the van, you can see a light here, you can see a screen, and you can see here we have a video camera, and we have, I'm assuming, maybe a tier 3 or tier 2 sound recorder with the VCR. Let's jump over to the game real quick, and I'm going to show you where this actually is. It is right here inside the van. You can see we have the VCR. We have the radio on the bottom. You can see the wall and the ceiling there. There's going to obviously be maybe a little bit more of a redo on this corner of the side of the van, where it's going to be like a nice light on top. So essentially what they're talking about is they're going to be redoing the CCTV camera here. This whole monitor area is going to be changing. It's probably going to be somewhere where you can take and review media evidence throughout the round. And I think that's a pretty cool addition. Not that this has necessarily been bad, but I think this could just be done better. Because the idea of putting down a video camera and then having to flip through them one at a time with your mouse, I don't know, it just never felt that immersive. It never felt that realistic. So I like the idea that they're going to be redoing this, and I'm excited to see what they are going to do with it. And that takes us to the end of this Phasmophobia dev preview. Having said all that, what else could we expect from Phasmophobia outside of the Chronicle update? We can expect the Grafton Farmhouse rework that we did show off as a little bit of a teaser at the beginning of the dev preview. The Tanglewood rework is coming as well, and hopefully they don't change the layout of Tanglewood too much, but more so just make it more detailed and a better experience overall. For that Horror 2.0 preparation, they have a brand new map coming that you may have seen in the 2025 roadmap, where the image is kind of redacted and blurred out, so you can't exactly tell what it is. But if you have any ideas, let me know down in the comments section, because I can tell you I've seen the map. And I'm so very excited to see that the map roster is expanding, changing, and we're going to get more playable areas here coming soon. There's going to be a character overhaul at some point, trying to prepare us for possible character customization in the future. You have to fix the character models first, so that they could be more interactable and move differently and have more possible customizable experiences. You have to overhaul the character models in order for them to be ready to be customized. Obviously, we have the Horror 2.0 stuff coming in 2026. Maybe some of it's going to be able to be teased off and talked about more later on in 2025, as well as some other major gameplay changes coming in 2025 as well that we'll be able to tell more about as the year goes on. Before we go, there's one public service announcement I wanted to make about stuff going on in the Tater Talk community here and the Phasmophobia development team. The Kinetic Games development team of Phasmophobia has partnered with the American Heart Association to do a charity event from June 1st to June 7th, the first week of June. I'm going to be participating in that with my community, as it is a purpose and a cause that is very near and dear to me. I've had a lot of people throughout my family have heart disease, and I have personally made donations to this organization in the past. I'm excited to be able to bring this to the community and hopefully raise some funds that'll go directly to the organization, all through Tiltify, so it's all certified and backed by the organization itself. And we're going to be doing streams on Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, and Friday. The only days during the week I don't stream are Wednesdays and Saturdays. I stream usually around 7 p.m. Eastern Time or 6 p.m. Eastern Time for about 3 or 4 hours, depending. Maybe even a little bit longer since it's a charity event. So if you'd like to tune on into any of our streams this week, it would be awesome to see you, as it is for an amazing cause. We'll be playing a lot of Phasmophobia and having a good time for sure. So thank you all so much for your time, and let me know your feedback on this dev preview down below one more time. And until I see you all next time, I hope you have a good weekend and stay crispy.